Good morning to those who have joined us today, and hi to those who are watching the recording of our live session later. Welcome to our virtual chat and learn about how to learn about the New Zealand electoral system and upcoming general election. I'm Lois Carlos, chairperson of Banyuhay Aotearoa. Our group organized activities that benefit the Filipino community, and one of them is this session. We also have an upcoming fundraising project this September. It's a film screening of Horas de Peligro that will be shown in Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch this September. The net proceeds will be allocated to support the welcome orientation of our new migrants. To know more about us, please follow our Facebook page, Banyuhay Aotearoa. We have invited community engagement advisors from the Electoral Commission, Agnes Guda and Shreejana Chhetri. They're both based in Christchurch. Welcome, Shreejana and Agnes.
Hi, Louise.
Yeah, and
Thank
just to give
you
a
for this
yeah,
opportunity.
thank you. Just to give a brief um, breakdown of our session. This session will be split into two parts. We'll have Shreejana and Agnes doing a slide presentation. Then we'll have a Q&A session. Please put your questions for those watching us in the live chat, in the live FB Live. Please put your questions in the comment section. And it doesn't matter if it's English or Filipino. We have people who can translate it so that our guest can answer. So, without further ado, the floor is yours, Agnes and Shreejana.
Thank you, Louise. Kia ora koutou, como estás? Warm welcome to you all. My name is Shreejana. I'm a community engagement advisor um, based in Christchurch at the Electoral Commission. And we also have Agnes, who has joined us. So part of what I do is go into communities and talk about democracy, importance of participation, why voting is important. And we want everyone to have that knowledge, everyone to be encouraged and empowered to actively participate. So we're going to go through our presentation slide today where we will look into who the Electoral Commission is, how to vote, the MMP system, 2 votes in New Zealand. So yeah. All right, 2023 general election. Your vote matters. Just can everyone see the screen all right? Can everyone see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. All right, so I'm going to start us off with a karakia this morning. Whakataka teho ki te uru, whakataka teho ki te tonga, kia mā kina kina ki uta, kia mā tara tara ki tai, e hi aki ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, ti he moriora. About us. So, who are we as an electoral commission? So, we are an independent, impartial crown entity who works with and through communities to inform, engage, and educate people about the value of participation, make it easy for people to enroll and vote, and promote the understanding of New Zealand democratic processes. And we also deliver the parliamentary elections and referendums. We are also politically neutral, so we do not tell you who you should vote for. We just want people to vote for whoever that they want to vote for. All right, so who is ready to vote this year? Let me ask, are you enrolled?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Have you updated your information after moving?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's good. That's good because to be able to vote, you have to enroll. And it is a very simple step, which we will be talking about in this presentation as well. We also like to hear your story, what voting was like for you. Voting for the first time, whether it was here in New Zealand or if it was back home in the Philippines, and what does it mean to you and your community. So I'm not really sure if people can comment or if they can speak, but um, we would love to hear your story, your voting story. Would anyone would like to share?
I can share. My voting story is when I came to New Zealand, I was already holding a resident visa. And I think it's 2017 when we had a general election as well. And I didn't know that I can vote. So I missed
Mm,
that. And then
yes.
I made sure that the next election I have all the I have registered and I have voted for the
Hmm.
next general election.
Nice. Wow. See, it's like when you don't know and how you missed out on something that you could have participated. So it's important that people know and people are informed.
Yeah.
What about you, Agnes?
Um, we came here in 2008. I was trying to remember. That's why I wasn't able to comment immediately. We came here in 2008, and I think that was also a general election year. So I voted that year, although I had to do so much readings about the candidates because I didn't know
Hmm.
them at all. So I had to do a lot of research and
Hmm.
readings, but I was so excited. And unlike in the Philippines, it was very easy to vote here in New Zealand. Just bring your easy vote card, and yeah, 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes the max, you're done. So it was a very
Yeah.
nice experience, and to be able to be your voice to be heard, that's a good thing for us Filipinos, because I'm also a Filipino like you, Rafi, Louise, and Becky. I'm also a Filipino, so I'm happy that I was able to participate and for my voice to be heard. So that was so important to me, and it's still so important to me at the moment. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And I've heard people tell me, even though they had democratic process back home, but it's so different compared to New Zealand. And some people would not go and vote because they would think it's kind of similar to what it was back home. So yeah, really, it's quite interesting to hear how it was different in the Philippines versus here in New Zealand.
Definitely very different. So much different.
Hmm. What about you, Becky?
Um, Funny thing, I started volunteering for as an election watcher in the Philippines when I was like 15 or 16. I
Hmm.
was just eager to help, and I was very active in our church community before. That's why I was able to find myself volunteering as an election watcher, or I think you call that here a scrutineer.
Mm,
Um,
yes.
so I was, yeah, um, I was exposed to how elections happen, and
Yeah.
it can be chaotic. So as a watcher, I just noticed how chaotic it can be because um, uh, sometimes people come to the polls, and they try to look for where their names are, because it's very manual. Um, if you have to look yourself up on the list, and sometimes you need to spend a bit of time to just go around and look for your name, and then sometimes you'll also find family members' names there who've already passed, and and they're still there on the list. and then you end up not finding your name there, and then it becomes a bit more chaotic, and you see a lot of people
Mm,
getting very disappointed and frustrated about how inefficient um, uh, things could be. But this was like over 20 years ago as well. And I was able to uh, register to vote when I turned 18 and was able to participate in the. I missed the national elections that year because I didn't turn 18 until later that year. So I missed that one. So I had to wait another 3 or 6 years before I was able to vote. And yeah, it was a bit chaotic and a bit frantic too sometimes.
yeah.
And you can
And
see
this was
long
back in the
queues.
Philippines?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you can see long queues as well. And then last year I was able to experience voting in Australia. I'm an Australian citizen,
Yeah.
and that was very efficient because I already moved here to New Zealand, but they were able to send me a voting pack, so I was able to vote via post, which was exciting, and it was really great because I don't need to queue up or anything. I just need to fill up everything, get it signed, and then send it back, which was very easy. So, I'm excited to be able to participate in this year's election in New Zealand as well. So, it would be nice to see how everything's run here too. So
Nice.
yeah,
Awesome.
I feel like
Awesome. Yes.
I'm just hopping around the world to try out electing voting in each country. But yeah, it's a different experience each time.
Thank you for sharing. With mine is so I come from a community that a lot of our community members do not actively participate, and some of the barriers are language barriers, but also not having democratic processes where we come from. So there's no habit of going to vote. And when I first voted in New Zealand, I was just so happy. It made me feel like, I belong here. This is home to me, and being part of that big decision making. So it was a very special feeling for me. Yeah. All right. So today we are going to be talking about the democratic process in New Zealand and how to vote, what to do, what to expect when you go to a voting place as well. So, how to have your say in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Voting is one of the way you get to have your say in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And what does that mean? So why does it matter? Together, we will choose who will be making the decision that affect our everyday lives for the next 3 years. And voting is how you can make your voice heard on issues that matter to you. About the 2023 general election, so New Zealand government decides on things that affect your life, like school, hospitals, roads, and there are many more. Whether that's law or sustainability, whatever it may be. So it is really important that you participate, and that way you can get your voices heard. And democracy works when all voices are heard. So no matter who you are, your vote is worth exactly the same as everyone else's. And, we're really lucky to have democracy in New Zealand because in some parts of the world, they do not have that. So for democracy to be strong and effective, we need everyone to participate, everyone to have a say. Sometimes we may feel like I don't know much, and it's always a little bit challenging when coming to a new country, and you don't know where to find information or what are some of the policies and things. and who to vote for as well. But we would say just trust yourself and know that you do know things. You have sets of values, and there are things that matters to you. So trust yourself, and yes, have a go at voting. So in New Zealand, you have to be enrolled to vote in general election. To get enrolled, you need to fill in an enrollment form. And it is a very simple step, which we'll be talking. Who can enroll to vote? We are going to watch a short video that tells us how to enroll and who can enroll. And also, one thing that is not mentioned in the video is we recently had a change with the Māori electoral option, where now people of Māori descent can change between the role anytime except 3 months prior to. Except you have to enroll before 3 months prior to an election or a referendum. So that is not mentioned over here. It still has the old law, which is they would have to wait for a Māori electoral option year, which happen every once in 5 year time.
Do you want your voice to count, to be a part of something important? It's easy. Enroll to vote to have your say in New Zealand's future. Enrolling or updating your details when you move is super simple. Just go to vote.nz. It only takes 5 minutes. All you need is your New Zealand driver license, New Zealand passport, or your Real Me verified identity. And even without any of these, you can fill out the form online and have it emailed or posted to you to sign and return. If you get stuck or need any help, you can always call us on 0800 36 76 56 or visit our Facebook page. Get onto it now. If you enrol early, voting will be faster and easier on the day. You can enrol to vote in New Zealand if you're 18 or over and you're a New Zealand citizen or permanent resident, and you've lived in New Zealand continuously for 12 months or more at some time in your life. Once you're on the electoral roll, you can vote in parliamentary elections, local elections, and referendums. This is how your voice gets heard. If you have any concerns about your personal safety, you can ask to go on the confidential unpublished roll. We'll keep your enrolment details secure and we won't give them to anyone. If you're Māori and you're enrolling for the first time, you can choose to go on the Māori roll or the general roll. It's up to you. If you choose the Māori roll, you'll vote for a candidate in a Māori electorate. And if you choose the general roll, you'll vote for a candidate in a general electorate. You get to choose from the same list of political parties whether you've chosen the general roll or the Māori roll. Once you choose roles, you can only change roles during the Māori electoral option, which takes place about every 5 years. There's more information about this and everything we've talked about in this video on our website, vote.nz. Enrolling is easy and means you get to have your say in New Zealand's future.
Awesome. I'm just going to the next slide.
Do you want
Oh, there we are. So who can enroll to vote? So in New Zealand, you must enroll to vote if you are 18 years or older. However, if you are 17, you can still enroll, but you have to be 18-year-old to vote. You are a New Zealand citizen who is living in New Zealand or a permanent resident. However, for electoral purposes, you are considered a permanent resident if you don't have a fixed date where you have to leave the country. So that means other visa type may apply, such as the 2021 COVID-19 visa that was released. So that actually enables you to enroll and vote as well. And you have lived in New Zealand for more than a year at some stage in your life. So those are the three criteria. Um, and what we tell people is, even if you're unsure about your eligibility criteria, whether you meet those or not, we would still encourage you to enroll anyway, because we can check that information for you. And I've had some people in the past expressing concern, oh, I wasn't eligible, but I enrolled. Am I going to get in trouble? Am I going to get deported? Don't worry, that is not how it works. So there's no consequences or fine or anything like that. Just give it a go at enrolling. And another thing is, in New Zealand, if someone is eligible to enroll and vote. So enrollment is actually required. It is compulsory, but voting is an option. How to enroll or update your details. So you get to fill out an enrollment form, and you can get that by calling our 0800 number or texting your name and address to 3676, or you can go on vote.nz and enroll online. Or if you see us at any event, come have a chat with us. I'm sure we will always have enrollment forms with us just in case. So enrolling or updating at Vote NZ. So if you're enrolling online, you have to have either your driver's license or a New Zealand passport or a Real Me verified account. But if you are filling out an enrollment form, you don't need any ID. Are there any questions?
I think, Shreejana, there's a question about residency.
Yes.
Let me check.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Can you explain more regarding the qualifications that says living in New Zealand for 12 months or more? Okay. So, for example, an example that I can give you is people who come on, let's say, refugee quota. So they are granted, I think, residency, yes, but they would still have to wait for a year. So they have to have lived in New Zealand for 1 year, at least 12 months, and then they can vote. If it does that answer your question?
What about for those who just recently got their residency? It's not
They don't
permanent.
have to, no, they don't have to wait for 12 months after receiving residency to be able to vote. So if they have been living in New Zealand and they receive their permanent residence, yes, they can go and vote.
Okay.
They don't have to wait for 12 months.
Because some of the Filipinos are very hesitant to enroll because they said they're not yet permanent residents. So that's a misconception, actually.
Yes. So even if you're unsure, we still encourage you to enroll anyway, and we can check that information for you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. Do not miss out on having your say. So get enrolled.
And Shreejana, how about those that are turning 18 soon? When's the right time for them to register?
Yes, so if someone is 17-year-old, so if they're 17, they can enroll,
Mhm.
and once they turn 18, we will add them, or they will be added on the electoral roll. So if they are turning 18 prior to 14th of October, they can vote.
And vote, yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Agnes?
You've tackled everything, yeah, basically all, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Māori or general role. So New Zealand has a very unique democratic system where we have guaranteed representation in the parliament for our indigenous people, so Māori, tangata whenua. And if you're Māori and enrolling for the first time, so you get to choose if you want to be on the Māori role or the general role. And you can choose between the role anytime now as well. And if you're already enrolled, the role you're on is the role that you'll be on for the 2023 election, because I think we're past that 3 months stage. But after that, you may be able to change, yes. Another thing is, so who is considered Māori? So you don't have to provide evidence or anything. So if you are someone who whakapapa Māori or identify as Māori, you get to choose between whether to go on Māori role or the general role. If you go on the Māori role, you will still get to choose from the same party list, but you will be voting for a Māori candidate on Māori electorate. There is also the unpublished role as well. So if you are worried about your safety, if your name goes on the electoral roll, you can ask to go on the unpublished role. So with that, we will not have your name, your address printed on the book. So if anyone is concerned about their safety, you can request to go on the unpublished role. There's a little bit of a different process. You would have to ask for the form, and you would have to provide evidence on what kind of safety concerns there are. But this is just an option available for people because we want everyone to feel safe. Are there any questions? No? Okay. Feel free to just pop them on the chat box as well. All right. Choosing who you vote for. Now we are going to watch a little video clip about the MMP, the Mixed Member Proportional System. And we'll chat a little bit about this as well. So 2 votes. This is about 2 votes.
MMP, or mixed member proportional, is the system we use in Aotearoa to choose the people and parties who represent us in Parliament. Under MMP, you get 2 votes every general election. Let's have a look at how they work. Your first vote is for the political party you support. This is called the party vote. The more votes a party gets, the more seats they will have in Parliament. If 40% of us vote for the Chhetri party, it will get around 40% of all the seats in Parliament. If 10% of us vote for the peer party, it will get about 10% of the seats. To get any seats in Parliament, a party must win at least 5% of the party vote, or win an electorate seat. That's where your second vote comes in. Your second vote is to choose a member of Parliament to represent the area you live in. This is your electorate vote. The candidate who gets the most votes in your electorate will become your local MP. So, if the Banana Party wins 4% of the party vote, but no electorate seats, they have no members in Parliament. But if they win 4% of the party vote and also win an electorate seat, then they are entitled to 4% of all the seats in Parliament. This 4% would be made up of their one electorate MP, with the rest being list MPs from their party list. Because MMP is a proportional system, there can be a range of big and small parties in Parliament. Every candidate who wins an electorate gets a seat in Parliament. The remaining seats are filled from party lists according to their share of the party vote. Under MMP, parties might not have a large enough share of the votes to govern alone. So, it's common to get support from other parties to form a government. The political party or group of parties with more than half the seats becomes the government. If you would like to find out more about New Zealand's political system and voting in Aotearoa, visit vote.nz.
Awesome. Are there any questions? I heard no. Okay. All right. What is MMP? So MMP is the system we use to elect our parliament. There are 120 members of the parliament, MPs, and there are 72 electorates. So electorate just it just means your local area, the area that you live in.
Mm.
Voters in each electorate elect an MP, called an electorate MP, and other 48 MPs are elected from political party list and are called list MPs. So you have 2 votes in general election. So your first vote, so you get to choose a political group that you want to be in the government to run New Zealand. And you have your second vote, which is the person you want to represent your local area, which is your electorate in the parliament. And some of the questions that I had in the past was around whether the person or the political party that they vote for have to be from the same. They don't have to be from the same. So you get to decide which political party you want to vote for, and if there's a candidate that is from a different political party but you really want, or you really want to vote for that person, that is okay to do that as well. Is there anything you want to add, Agnes?
I just want to make a clarification about the electorate because some of the Filipinos who are not here during election period
Yes.
and they have a certain electorate that they are
Mm,
assigned to, sometimes they will not vote because they thought that they would just need to go in that electorate. So just a clarification that you can vote anywhere in New Zealand regardless of your electorate. So it's just makes for everyone to be easy to vote if you are going to your own electorate, but if you are out of town, then you can still vote in any voting places.
yes, thank you
Mm.
for that.
Mm.
Becky has just asked a question. If someone chooses to vote a party but left the electorate blank, will that invalidate the vote? That is a very interesting question. How about I follow back on that? Um, yeah, but that is a very good question. All right, so general election is on 14th of October this year. So it happens once in every 3 years. And it is the main event, the biggest event in New Zealand. Voting period begins on 2nd of October. So what that means is voting places are open for about 2 weeks before election day from Monday, 2nd of October. So people can actually go and vote um, from the 2nd of October. And you can vote at any voting any voting place in New Zealand, but it may be easier to vote close to home. For example, let's say, during this period, you have to travel elsewhere and you're not going to be in your area. That's okay.
Mm.
You can vote from, let's say, Auckland, Nelson, anywhere. You don't have to be in your exact electorate to go and vote.
And sometimes, Shreejana, if they forgot the easy vote card, they thought they can't vote. You can still vote if you don't have your
Yes.
easy vote card. Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly where we were heading to next, is about Easy Vote Card. So if you enroll by Sunday, 10th of September, you will get an information pack in the mail about a week before voting begins, and you will also get your Easy Vote Card with you, Easy Vote Card as well, and you can still vote even if you don't have your Easy Vote Card. That's okay, and you can still enroll even after the 10th of September as well. That's not the deadline for enrollment. You can still enroll. However, you won't be getting the Easy Vote Card or the information package mailed to you. So that's why we encourage everyone to enroll before the 10th of September. Let's say if someone is still not enrolled and it's the voting day, the election day, it's 14th of October, you can still go to a voting place and you can still vote, but there's going to be a different process. You'll have to do a special voting. So yeah, and then once you get your voting easy vote card when you go to voting place, so you take that with you and give it to the person that works at the voting place. And then, you can vote without the easy vote card, but with easy vote card, it just makes it very simple, very easy, and faster as well.
Mm. Some of the people I talked to were asking me if they need to show identification. You don't need to.
No, you don't need
Yeah.
to show your ID or anything, because we want it to be accessible for everyone to have their say. So, how to vote? Earlier, we heard some of the experience from what it was like voting in the Philippines. So, here we are going to have a look at how to vote in New Zealand, what to expect on voting day. So, when you go to the voting place, so the person who works at the voting place will find your name on the electoral roll, cross your name off, and give you the voting paper. And after you get your voting papers, you take them behind the voting screen, as you can see on the picture. And again, you get 2 votes. So you get to give a tick for the political group you want to be in the government, and another tick for the person that you want to represent your local area in the parliament. And after you have finished, you just fold them in half and put your voting paper for the election in voting box for your electorate. And that's all. That is the step. That's all. You're done. You have voted.
Quick and easy.
Yes, that's all you have to do. Another thing is also, so you can actually bring a support person with you. And they can even go with you behind the voting screen. They can even help you read the papers, help you tick the papers as well, but they cannot tell you who you should vote for. So that is your decision, that is your choice, and you get to make that. For more information, we do have a lot of resources on our website. So if you go on vote.nz, there is enrollment information in Tagalog as well. And there is also the easy read guide that you can have a look at and also show it to your family, your friends. And if you have any questions or anything, you can always ring us on our 0800 number.
There's a question, Shreejana. Until when
Yes.
can we register?
Yes, all the way up to the election day, you can still register. So even on voting day, if you're not registered, you can still go there and enroll, and you can vote. Yes.
It's just that when you enroll before the 10th of September, you get the easy vote card and it makes
Yes,
voting easier and simpler and faster.
correct.
Mm.
Is there a postal vote in New Zealand?
Postal vote in New Zealand. So the local election is a postal vote, but with general election, you have to go to a voting place. However, if there is no chance of you going to the voting place, if that's like the last thing, by whatever circumstances you cannot go to your local voting place, there is a carry vote as well. You would just have to make contact with us and we can arrange someone to pick up the vote. Yeah,
Yeah, we
so
call them the
that's
takeaway.
takeaway. Yes, takeaway votes. Thank you. Um, yes, and there's also phone dictation as well. Um, yes, so we just want it to be accessible for people to vote.
Can registered voters who are overseas vote?
Yes, yes, there's
Yes,
also
yes.
overseas vote as well. So if you are New Zealand citizen or permanent resident living overseas, you can vote from overseas. Um, Previously, so you would have to be out of the country for no more than 4 years. But if you come back, then it just renews again. But because of COVID, I think now it has moved to 6 years' time.
Yes.
So if you have been living overseas for, let's say, um, almost 6 years, you can still vote. And if it's like almost 6 years and then you came back to New Zealand, let's say even for a day or a two, that renews again. And then when you go back, you can still vote.
Like my daughter, she's living now in Denmark because she's studying there. So she's very excited to vote overseas. Yeah, I just asked her to update her enrollment. I mean the role.
Nice.
Another question is, if a registered voter hasn't voted in the last few elections, do they need to re-register?
Um, Not necessarily. So if you have not moved address, we would probably still have your information as what you have previously registered with. But if you're unsure, we still encourage people to register anyway, and we can just check that for you. Yes, it's always good to just give it a go because there's nothing to lose, really.
I understand where the question is coming from because in the
Mhm.
Philippines, when you have not voted for like a certain period of time, then they remove you in the electoral roll, and it's.
Mm.
I was quite surprised when I saw my name in the Commission on Election website. My name was still there, and I haven't been in the Philippines for like I haven't voted in the Philippines for like 20 years, and my name's still there. It should have been removed already. So I know where the question is
Hmm.
coming from.
I might have to follow up on that question as well because there could be potential where people have enrolled but have never voted and never participated. So I might have to follow back on that question just to make sure that you have the right answer.
But if you're unsure, then just register
Yes,
again.
just enroll anyway. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are there any more questions?
No more?
All right, what can you do now? So let's talk about what matters to you in your community. Share the information about enrollment and voting and participate and get your voices heard. So we want everyone to enroll, go vote, but also tell your friends and families, share this information, and yes, go and vote. I think this brings us to our um, ending of our presentation. But if you have any questions or anything that pops into your mind, please do reach out to me or Lewis or Agnes. We would love to hear from you and support you in your community as well.
I just want to say something,
Yes,
Shreejana, because there are so many job opportunities in
yes.
this election. I just want to share that because in 2020 general elections, I was one of the vote issuing officers at the Selwyn electorate. So it's not a full-time job. So if you just want to work in the weekends or nights, then you can apply. So it's for everyone. It's
Wow.
nice to be involved in this very big major event in the country. So I encourage you to apply if you have time. Uh,
That's a good
our
experience.
Yes, it was a very
Yes.
good experience. I really enjoyed it. I actually started there as a casual employee for staff for the commission and elections, and then I reapplied when there was a vacancy for community engagement coordinator. So, yeah, yeah, I
Thank you for
love it.
sharing that, Agnes.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
Agnes, there's a
Yeah.
question. Where can we get that information? Is it just in the
You
electorate?
can just go to work.elections.nc.
Election.
Yeah, and you register
Yes.
your application. Yeah, yeah, your interest to apply. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
No, thank you for sharing that. And we want people of diverse background to be there to
Yeah.
represent your community, to be the face of your community. And there are so many opportunities, so many different roles. So if you're interested, even just working to work for a day,
Mm,
yes, you can
yeah.
still apply. And yeah, all the best.
You can apply work
Nice.
at the voting place, the headquarters, or
Yes.
the counting of the votes. Yeah, it's so nice
Mm,
to experience that.
Oh,
mm.
that reminds me. How
Mhm.
long is when can we hear about the result? How long does it take usually?
So right now, they are going through the interview process, I believe. Um, sorry, is this about the job or about
Oh
the
no,
election?
the election, the
The
electoral
Election,
election.
process.
yes. Okay,
Sorry.
okay, got you. So the result gets announced on the night of the election.
But that's
However,
partial
the
result
official,
only.
yes, official
Unofficial result.
result will come in November. It will be announced in November.
Third,
So
third
in
of
New
November.
Zealand, yeah, everything is hand counted. Everything is done
Mm,
manually. And after counting all the votes, we do recount of everything again, just to make sure
yeah.
that everything is 100%
Yeah, I
accurate.
remember when
Yes.
I work in the election and we were counting the votes. If there was discrepancy in the count, you will recount it again.
That's why you
That's
need
a
more
good
people.
experience.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
why we need more people.
Yes. So we recruit about more than 20,000 staff nationwide. So this year is general election, so there's a lot of opportunities for people there if you're interested in working. Um, yes, yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much again, Shreejana and Agnes, for the detailed explanation of our electoral system. I like that we really do a lot of effort of encouraging people to use their right to vote, and
Yeah.
we give them all the opportunities to do that.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so we don't have any more questions coming in from the FB Live. So, yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for giving us your time on this Saturday morning, sharing the information to the Filipino community.
Thank you
And I
too.
think you're going to close with the Karakia,
Yeah.
closing
Thank
Karakia.
you. Thank you for having us. And if there is anyone that would like to do any activity or anything to encourage your community to vote or to learn more about the New Zealand democratic processes, please do come to us. We would love to get in touch with you and come speak to your community as well. So please do get in touch. Yeah, thank you once again, and thank you for joining us. I'm just
Thank
going to close us with a karakia. Ka whakairia te tapu kia, kia whatea ai te ara, kia turuki whakatahi ai, kia turuki whakataha ai, huie tai kie.
you.
Restrictions are moved aside so the pathway is clear to return to everyday activities, enriched, unified, and blessed. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Louise.
Salamat.
Thanks, Becky. Salamat. Maraming salamat, everyone. Thanks, Rafi and Ems.
Thank you.